Good morning, ladies, and thank you for joining us in Far Above Rubies today. I'm so glad that each of you are here. Today we're focusing on Psalms chapter 139. This is a phenomenal chapter. If you are going through a situation, if you need uplifting and encouragement, or if you just want to worship the Lord in His beauty, this chapter is phenomenal to sink your teeth into. So I'm going to focus on just a few verses in this chapter because we could go on for days on this beautiful section of scripture. What I'm going to focus on are these few verses. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend up into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand guide me, and your right hand shall hold me. I'm going to talk to you for a moment about the topic, you can run, but you can't hide. It is natural whenever we make a mistake, when we fall, even in the smallest way as human beings, for us to desire to hide from the Lord, to run from Him. We see it in the very first people, in Adam and Eve. When they messed up, they didn't fall at His feet when He came into the garden. They said, oh no, God's coming, the Lord's coming, He's coming to commune with me, and I am ashamed of myself. And they hid themselves. And the Lord came into the garden and He said, you thought you could hide from me? And He took them out from hiding, and He covered their shame with a blood sacrifice. My sweet friend, I don't know if you feel like you're running from the Lord Himself, from relationship with Him, or if you're just running from a calling, if you're running from a ministry, if you're running from some specific thing He's asked you to do. I've been there, and it's hard when God puts something in your spirit and He says, this is for you, and you're going, God, I'm not worthy of that. Did you see that big mistake I made yesterday? God, did you see the last time you asked me to do something, how I fell on my face? God, don't you know and don't you understand? And you want to withdraw from the Lord for a little while. Maybe He'll forget what He's asked you to do. Maybe you're running from your mission field, which could be the city you're in, or it could be across the country, or it could be France, or it could be in the Congo of Africa. You feel like you're running from the Lord. Well, guess what? You know when you're online and you scroll up and down on a page and there's sometimes this pop-up ad that's, it's kind of annoying and it goes wherever you go and it doesn't ever leave you alone. It just goes up and down the page with you. Well, God's kind of like that little pop-up ad. It doesn't matter how far you go. He's right there with you. If you ascend up into heaven, He is there. If you make your bed in hell, He's there. If you take the wings of the morning, it's poetic, wings of the morning, and go to the uttermost parts of the sea, if you go as far away as you can imagine from the Lord, He is there. It says His hand shall guide you, His hand shall hold you. You can run, but you can't hide. Jonah thought that he could run from the Lord's ministry and calling, from the Lord's admonition to reach the people of Nineveh. He thought he could run, and he could run, but he couldn't hide because God found him. No matter where he turned, God found him, and God was there, and God was waiting on him, and things got darker, and things got deeper for Jonah until he finally turned his heart in the direction of the Lord and said, okay, God, I surrender my will to your will, and here I am. And when he did that, his life turned around. When he did that, the problem that he had sitting in the belly of the well disappeared. And all of a sudden, Jonah found himself exactly where he was supposed to be, standing in the will of the Lord on the shores of Nineveh. And an entire city, I'm going to add, was saved because he turned to the Lord. Adam and Eve, once they made their mistake, once they then accepted God covering their sin and their shame, they then taught the next generation about the Lord and the sacrifices of God. My sweet friend, if you ascend to heaven, He's going to be there. If you're currently going through hell or if you're heading for hell, God is there. If you take the wings of the morning and you run as far away as you can from the Lord, He's still there. Stop running. If you feel like you're tired in your spirit, there's probably a reason. It's because you've been running for far too long. Turn your heart. That's my challenge for you today. Turn your heart, whether it's just that you've been running away from a ministry and a calling, or if it's that you've been running from the Lord altogether. I am challenging you today. I'm pleading with you to turn your heart in the Lord's direction. Just one little step. You don't have to run the entire race back. All you have to do is turn your heart one little step in the Lord's direction, and He will meet you right there. I love you so much. Please read this chapter, Psalms chapter 139. It's so beautiful. I love you. Thank you for being here today. If no one has told you lately, you are so loved. You are so valuable. You are cherished. You are God's prized possession. You have worth, and that worth is far above rubies.